Hi, everybody. Let's see. So, 1,901 days since Richard was forcibly removed from the barracks room there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And he was taken to a room that was soundproof, and his life was taken from him. His body was stolen, it was dismembered, and it was trafficked across the border to Mexico. And we believe, because of the evidence that we have, that partial remains are at the Plenitude Crematorium. Now, those bodies have been, a lot of bodies have been removed. There were bones that were still found there. Um, and of course, the Chihuahua government are complicit in this. So, in order to get them to identify all the remains, it gets very vicious. It gets very vicious in President Trump's terms, meaning you have to be very serious about driving them to do the right thing, that you have to drive them to do the right thing. And, there's a lot of things going on in Chihuahua, Mexico. There's a lot of things going on in Texas. There's a lot of things going on in El Paso. And so, if anyone can drive them to return our son's remains, it is President Trump. We're going through those channels. We are in communication with the White House. We received on August 6th and 7th, and we let everyone know about that, personal letters from President Trump. And the one on August 7th, honored Richard beyond belief. I would say, like he honored Charlie Kirk today. It was that amazing. And of course, um, today was a beautiful day to see Charlie Kirk receive posthumously the Medal of Freedom with a special cross. Maybe one day, at least a purple heart, maybe. Richard, from me and our family, we believe absolutely Richard deserves a golden cross. Um, his reward is in heaven, and it is just amazing because he's an absolute hero. He's an absolute hero for standing up to this very criminal cabal there in El Paso. And we are so grateful to everyone today. Let me make sure that everybody see if everything is working, because thank you, Anicia, for coming on. Thank you for your prayers and your love and your hope. Your hope with the stars, right? Richard deserves those gold stars. And thank you, Laura, so much for your prayers and your patriotism. Blessings, Mama Bear Halliday. Yes, Richard deserves it. Thank you. Um, and absolutely, and it's all coming out. Excuse me. It's all coming out. And it's because of you. It's because of everybody watching and sharing. Today has been an absolute incredible day, and we want to say thank you so much, because the Christina Sanchez, I'm going to try to do this all by memory like I normally do. The Christina Sanchez referral to AG Ken Paxton, has gotten a lot of views, has gotten a lot of attention, and that has boosted the messaging of our cause, meaning finding, returning, because we believe we found his remains. There's other things about his remains, because he was dismembered, and we believe some remains were left in the United States, and some were taken into Mexico. And that's why, because we have these 3 autopsy reports, right? So the ones in Mexico, we believe, are at Plenitude Crematorium, that they were there. We have information that dog tags were there. We have uh, made the connections between the owners with um, the suspects in our son's case. There is absolutely a total connection over and over again. And then we have witnesses. Um, so this is not just pulling out of the air. This is um, backed with evidence. And I wish I could tell you everything, but we're dealing with people that are very, very violent. They are very violent. It's the same group that ended uh, Charlie Kirk's life. It's the same group that attempted um, to assassinate President Trump. It is the same group that forcibly removed our son and took his life. So this is, so I have to be protective of those that have shared information. Because, of course, we have a new sheriff in town, right? For about 10 months now, we've had President Trump. And, he has done so much with the funding and the designations and identifying the crimes and also driving, even in Mexico, the media to report on the Plenitude Crematorium. That is, because in Mexico, the media is ran by the very criminals that are complicit in this criminal trafficking and this disaster that's going on in Mexico. So, so that is amazing that this was reported on over and over again, and that the people there, the families, the victims' families that are protesting, that want to know the results of the DNA tests, that want to know the names of all of the victims that were there. Um, eh, they are very, very brave, y'all. They're so brave because the system has been so compromised over there that they had a crematorium, a narco crematorium, a flesh peddler, to get rid of evidence. And in the United States, that mortuary affairs, the funeral operations would transfer their victims of their criminal no good cartel operations over the border to this narco crematorium, right? So that's all being, um, and there's more than one, but this one has been singled out for a very good reason. And, uh, it's very clear that all of these pieces are fitting together. And so let's get going. Let's start. Um, Today, I really want to talk about the 2 posts that are really getting a lot of attention for very, very good reason. And one of them is the fine dining between the county judge Ricardo Samaniego with the owner of the Plenitude Crematorium. They call him the flesh peddler. Okay, that's what they call him because he was, recycling rotting bodies to collect humanitarian aid for an identified migrant and getting rid of victims for the narcos and on, right, and on and on. So he has many properties in the United States. One property is right beside Beto O'Rourke's. And Rafael Arliano Caron, his wife, is the is a senior editor for the city magazine. So this is, they always have their cartel criminal cabal, operations with control of the media, of course, because the media is so important in hypnotizing and obstructing of cases, hypnotizing the public or obstructing cases or even fabricating stories or evidence to use in court to their favor, or to absolutely target um, and let's say discredit any kind of witness against them. So, this is a really big deal for the county judge to be, fine dining with this dude, with this flesh peddler, with this criminal. I mean, dude is too good of a name for him. Um, uh, and of course, this was all under the protection and knowledge of Colin Whitten, the special agent in charge for the El Paso FBI office there. Absolutely knows because uh, this Cafe Central, it, it's a known place, and it is also known to be bugged, right? It is also known to be bugged. Of course, if you're going to have um, um, these um, these kind of individuals eating, dining, fine dining, and of course that goes with drinking and everything, and they're discussing. You're going to want to listen in, right? I mean, that's the way it is. So this is absolutely a known, and there's eyes everywhere, and there's ears everywhere at this place. So if you go there, just to keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind that is known to have been. I'm not saying it is now, whatever you want to believe, but it is known. It was reported that it was absolutely wired. It was a very wired place. Um, so this is, why it's getting a lot of attention, and it's so criminal. It's so criminal, and something has to be done about it, right? Because uh, and the thing about Judge Samaniago is that he is like a huge ally to Woody Hunt, to Beto O'Rourke, to um, of course, Veronica Escobar, right? And he signs the checks, y'all. He has the checkbook. He has the open checkbook for the medical examiner. I mean, it's very this meeting that he did is very, very criminal, very criminal. And so that's why this is getting the attention. The other, and I'm going, uh, talk, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to leave your questions there, because it's so important to have these active live streams and all the posts and everything. That's why I do them every day, because it's so important, because it is the people that will drive the authorities, even if they're crooked, to do the right thing. And that's how we'll get our son back. Of course, our family is doing, triple take, triple time, whatever, quadruple time behind the scenes also, because you have to do the legal work. And of course, we've had to do the investigation ourselves. And this is a team effort with you, because we've gotten lots of leads from you, and so please feel free to comment, and please feel free to share, because this is it's working. It's working. We're getting closer and closer. So So the other post that is really getting even more attention, and I don't know if it's deserving of more attention, but because Ricardo Samaniego is up for election, but also Ken Paxton is running to be senator, right? Senator against Senator Cornyn. Um, and, uh, okay, I guess he wants to be senator, um, but he was referred by, the complaint that we put in, that is amazing. It's really amazing that this, really, when I think about it, it should be number one. It really should be number one. Um, our complaint was about the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court. And it is a little hard to believe that they would do this because it disenfranchises the entire county, right? Every um, individual that is eligible to vote has been disenfranchised because and we've been saying this for, oh gosh, for so long, right? For so long, ever since we found out um, that since 2015, the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, because of an amendment, was given full county-wide jurisdiction. Before then, it only had partial jurisdiction. Um, in 2015, it was given full jurisdiction. Well, that changed everything because if you're a partial jurisdiction of a county in the state of Texas, you can have appointed judges. But if you have full jurisdiction, those judges must be elected. And that's in the Texas Constitution. Okay, that's in the Texas Constitution. So that's very, very important. And we've laid that out for everyone and spoke to all, very important people about this. And it is absolutely right. It is absolutely right. And the letter that we received from Christina Sanchez, the county attorney, she admitted that they had a lot of conflicts of interest, that she could not address this huge problem, and that she referred this complaint to Attorney General Ken Paxton. So, and we've been on this. We have written letter and letter. I mean, it's just the other day, yesterday, I believe yesterday, the day so much happened. I don't know. I think it was over 100 different letters. Let's just say addresses that got letters. I mean, it's you have to be on this all the time. And so, matter of fact, I was just thinking I need to write a note about an open records that I forgot to tell my husband, and let me write this down that he needed to respond to. So I had to write it down real quick because there's so much going on that if I don't write it down right away, I'll forget it again, right? I'll forget. And there is just a lot of requests for open records. And then when we identify the crimes, um, then we have to record it and we have to file it. And with all of that, because Richard's case is so big and involves so many agencies, it always matters to our case. It always matters to our case. Everything that happens in El Paso matters to Richard Halliday's case because Richard's case is so entwined with the Walmart mass shooting because he came first. He came first. His whistleblower complaints came first. So people think of Richard as, a murdered soldier, right? He's a murdered soldier in the line of duty, a hero, a hero. But don't forget, he was a whistleblower first, and uh, he recorded and he filed reports, and he was in communication with multiple agencies. And so this is all documented. So uh, why wasn't it reported on, right? Why wasn't it reported on? And why weren't we told about it at the very beginning? Because they wanted to hide it. And who wanted to hide it? Well, it would be the likes of Sylvia Borunda Firth, Penny Hamilton, Jaime Esparza, and many more, and many more. And Sylvia Borunda Firth has a huge role in this. Okay, she is, um, she sits on the El Paso uh, Community Foundation Board of Directors. Okay, she's a director on the board of directors for the El Paso Community Foundation, which is owned by the power broker Mormon faction power broker there. That's up to no good, cartel tied Woody Hunt. Um, and he has, it's huge, right? Um, the influence is huge. It, just look it up. It's just blows your mind. He has a huge influence. And the sitting on the board as a director for the El Paso Community Foundation has huge influence. Okay. And of course, that's the parent company of El Paso Matters. So you can influence, if you're a director on that board, you can influence El Paso Matters, the media. So that is huge. At the same time, she is a commissioner on the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, overseeing the judges in Texas. In Texas, so any judge that is a political hindrance to her allies, right? Her loyalty, she can go after. She can weaponize um, that. So she has a huge conflict of interest there. Now, she was the city attorney, and she, of course, had violations there, right? And she was then she was the president of the state bar. Right, she was a president of state bar. She also sits on the El Paso bar. I mean, and her family owns El Diario, okay, the Spanish speaking media, right, over in Juarez and also El Paso. And so she has this huge influence. And of course, her sister with the lawyer and her husband, Victor Firth, and all of the, and you can, I posted it all up. You can read all of the conflicts of interest. But the point is she has proven herself to be compromised. She has proven herself to be corrupt over and over and over again. Okay. And now this group that she is in, this criminal group, includes Penny Hamilton. Okay. Penny Hamilton is, very involved in the Walmart case and very involved in Richard's case. And the problem with that is that she has no authority. That's why this referral by Christine Sanchez of our criminal complaint that is just absolute concrete Texas Constitution to AG Paxton is so important. And that's why it's getting so much leverage, so much attention right now, because it absolutely involves Penny Hamilton sealing the Walmart case, right? Which means sealing the time period, anything to do with Richard's whistleblowing. Okay. Um, so it is, and here it was done by someone with no authority. She also issued the arrest warrant for him. They did that arrest warrant on the 4th of August at after 9 o'clock in the evening. But at the same time, they did the application for an attorney, right? For an appointed attorney. Um, Early in the morning at like 5:42, something like that in the morning that same day, right? Just hours later. So that doesn't make sense. Before he even was arrested with the arrest warrant, um, they already gave him the rubber stamp to have an open checkbook, millions and millions of dollars poured out for his defense, for one lead lawyer, Joe Open Checkbook Spencer, who and said, okay, I'll take this case, but I won't do it for nickels and dimes. I want an open checkbook. And he said that before he got that. So that means sometime in between the shooting and 5:42 a.m. on a Sunday morning, he was contacted by who? Sam Madrano and Judge Guadarrama. Were they even appointed? Well, we know for sure that Sam Madrano wasn't even appointed. So why does this matter? Because the magistrate court, that was Sylvia Borunda Firth's baby. That was her baby. Okay, she, as city attorney, that was her baby, and it's like really. And Penny Hamilton, it's always the same people. It's always the same people. And they absolutely, the evidence shows that they had predetermined. This was orchestrated. They had, known what they were going to do. Everything's out of order, very quickly done. The arrest warrant is quickly done. Of course, the application without looking into his family. He's from a very wealthy family, and and it's 000, zero, like he has nothing, nothing in his cup at all. And yet he is, rubber stamped, approved, signs Patsy, and so these are all the irregularities, the anomalies. When you put them together, it absolutely shows, him. Uh, the whole case is staged and orchestrated, except for those that died, right? Except for those that died. And that's why we have absolutely taken the time out to make these videos and all the memes and everything, which is, really time consuming, right? It takes a lot of time to ask who killed Maria, who killed um, Alexandra Hoffman, who killed the Anchondo couple, who, um, you know, it's just, and you can go Memo Garcia, who killed Memo Garcia, because Memo Garcia, our information that we got said Patrick Crucius didn't shoot him. It wasn't him. And by the video and everything, it looks like those executions were done before Patrick Crucius got on the scene. that's what it looks like to us. You can look at the videos yourself, and then where are all the other victims? Where is all the chaos? Where is, just the blood, and where is blood on him? And, so this, and why didn't they secure the scene? It took, over 2 days to secure the scene. This is shows, if they didn't even secure the scene, it tells, like, okay, Penny Hamilton is putting out the arrest warrant, and I mean, everything is in chaos, and yet they're doing the application for appointed counsel already for an open checkbook. They're just so greedy for the money, right? I mean, it just shows you how greedy they are for the money. Um, and then, and you have Sylvia Borunda Firth, um, and then as time goes on and she's sitting on the commission, uh, you know, what's going on with Sam Madrano? He violated so many things with this gag order. And do you remember what they put us through? It was just so illegal. Everything was so illegal. And we filed and filed, and she's protecting him. And then the latest one is he's letting a repeat offender of the worst type of crimes against children, William Molinar, who is the baby daddy for Amber Chase, and Amber Chase is up to no good too. Just go walk free when he um, did the most horrible things to a child over and over again, and he's a repeat offender. And Judge Madrano goes light on him, and William Molinar is the buddy um, of Danae Katzen, connected to Danae Katzen. And Danae Katzen is the wife of Jonathan Ambrose, the 143. Um, deployed with 143, that's Richards. um and absolutely knows Dallas Hart, and shares an address uh with Danae Katz and his family, with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, who frauded her way into getting um, the money from the El Paso Community Foundation's Walmart mass shooting victims funds. Those were donated all over, and they were controlling that West Star Bank, and they were being investigated. And all of that information, all of that is connected. You have Ernest Christopher Grant, who has now been arrested. And of course, Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia knows Leilani Hart, and Leilani Hart was getting her mail at Dreams Cabaret, and hundreds of thousands of children are trafficked. And now it's come out that the 40 children at a time were dropped at a strip joint. Oh, Dreams Cabaret is a strip joint, and a vacant lot. Oh, right next to a vacant lot. Oh, right next to Texas Department of Public Transportation, and the FedEx there that we know wasn't up to no good. Um, it all fits together. And so for Ken Paxton, and it all leads back to this court that allowed Penny Hamilton to impersonate a judge, disenfranchising the public of their vote, um, and sitting on that bench with no constitutional authority at all, and making a mess out of everything. Yeah, and making a mess out of everything. Because we had no real judge on the scene. No real judge. There was no real judge. It's all botched. She's made a mess out of everything. And now, because President Trump, and, of course, the Walmart mass shooting, at the end of the day, the very bloody day of it, their true target was President Trump and his election to be president of the United States. They wanted to stop him at all costs. They wanted to smear him, discredit him, whatever it took. And if they, had to orchestrate a mass shooting, right, a real one, a bloody one, if they had to um, retaliate against Glennon Oakley Jr. And in April of 2020, he was found dead in his barracks. R.I.P. Glennon Oakley Jr. If they had to silence Richard, these people are very, very violent people. Very violent people. And so when Penny Hamilton put in this defunct, right? Defunct complaint against Judge Mario Gonzalez. And I don't even know him, okay? But I know that he was speaking out against the cashless bail bonds, concerns about it, because as his position at Horizon as a judicial officer, his job was to issue these bail bonds. And he saw problems with these PR cashless bail bonds. And that, would cause a lot of repeat offenders and a lot of corruption. And he spoke out about it like he should. In 2020, if you see something, say something, right? And 2022. And a lot of these municipal judges, they also have a private practice. It's a normal thing. And, they twist people's, perception. They try to smear him. And Penny Hamilton, with all of her conflicts of interest, was allowed to put in this complaint. She shouldn't have even been allowed to put in a complaint because she is just not trustworthy, right? She has so many conflicts of interest. But, her buddy, Sylvia Borunda Firth, that sits as a commissioner on the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, allowed this to happen. And on the 6th, and there's a Patricia Lopez involved in this, okay? A Patricia Lopez involved in this that showed up to the August 6th and 7th meeting to speak out against Judge Mario Gonzalez. For just, it's kind of like a whole Charlie Kirk thing, just speaking about what he was concerned about with these bail bonds, because they had a heads up that President Trump was about to ban the cashless bail bonds. And he did. He did just recently. I think it was on the 23rd of August, 2025. I have to look again, but it's close to that. Maybe it's the 24th. But he absolutely banned the cashless bail bonds because of all the crime that it was and the safety issues to the public, right? So they met on the commission met on the 6th and 7th, which are, like really great days for us because we got personal letters from President Trump. But they met there, and I believe that it was collusion. I believe it was conspiracy. I believe they were up to no good because they did not disclose, and I believe this because of the evidence. They did not disclose that Penny Hamilton was under investigation, that Penny Hamilton and this letter, this referral, this to the AG is absolutely evidence of that, right? That she is under investigation, that she has been referred to the Attorney General, Ken Paxton. This very lady that is, operating being an imposter judge, without any authority at all, messing with the entire judicial system there in El Paso. And I mean, really, really, when you seal a case like that, and you mess with the one of the biggest, if not the biggest, mass shooting in American history, you're messing. You are absolutely messing up. And of course, the many other conflicts of interest that Sylvia Borunda Firth has with the media. That's why they didn't release the leak to El Paso Matters, right? Or KTAP, or because she has influence over that, or El Diario, right? They released it to KTSM because KTSM is absolutely in their little pot. It's absolutely, I mean, El Diario, El Paso Matters, KTSM, whatever. Don't forget, Danae Katzen led us to KTSM, and KTSM falsely reported when they knew about Richard and his whistleblowing and the Walmart mass shooting. They knew about the Mayella. They all know about the Mayellas, right? That you can't keep that a secret. They're too big of a family. They're too big of a family, the Crucius Mayella family, to keep it a secret. And so, but they did the best they could. They were pretty good. A lot of money was involved in all of this, right? Because they to stop President Trump was in their favor. And anyway, um, so, yeah, her connection with the media, her connection with this whole judicial, legal, law enforcement. Sylvia Brunda Firth did not disclose any of that um, to Mario Gonzalez. And all he knew is that years ago, he made some statements concerning his concerns for the cashless bail bond. And all of a sudden now he's being surrounded, right? And being admonished, being sanctioned. And they don't care to ruin a person's life, right? They do not care to ruin a person's life if it's going to give them an edge in a future legal case. And the future legal case that I'm talking about is the challenge to the ban on bail bonds executive order by President Trump. And so Mario Gonzalez, I don't know if he knew this, but he was the prophet. He was the hero, the witness, um, corroborating President Trump's uh, ban on bail bonds. And so that was a very weak point if they wanted to challenge, and they do, um, the the executive order of President Trump and the ban on bail bonds. They would have to get rid of the witness or discredit him. And so this is why they don't care to ruin somebody, to smear somebody. They did that to Richard, and Richard is sparkling clean. He is, they had nothing to smear. He's a hero, and they absolutely attempted it anyway. And that's what they did to Mario Gonzalez. So we're very concerned for his safety because these people get very violent. They stop at nothing, at nothing. And this is, um, uh, do I think that he's in danger? I, I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. But I'm concerned for his safety because they've targeted him. And look at what they did to Richard. Look at what they did to Richard. And don't forget, Glendon Oakley Jr. was retaliated against. So, oh my gosh, I mean, he was crying just the next day, even as a hero. He was crying because they were retaliating, they were bullying him, and we have been months and months, daily and daily, under their retaliation with threats on our life, the doxing of our home, and many, many other things that they have done to us. I mean, and I just can't even tell you all of the harassment, intimidation, and everything to try to stop us from investigating our son's case. And we have every right to investigate our son's case. We were told to investigate our son's case. And we have gotten this far, and we are really very close. We are at the negotiation of repatriation. That's where we're at right now, is the viciousness of a negotiation of the repatriation of our son's remains back to us. That's where we're at. There is no doubt um, of his remains. Um, and so this is, you know, and like I said, it's vicious. It's really vicious. So you have to keep going, and you're sharing all of this information. Every time you share, it helps. And so today was a really wonderful day. It brought a lot of attention. And someone told me, when this breaks, you're going to have a billion shares. You're going to have a billion views, a billion views. Everybody, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, I mean, I don't know. I hope so, because that is what drives the judicial system, the political system, to do the right thing. So we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. They work for us. They work for us. And we must always remind them and drive them to do the right thing. And so this is, when people talk about Trump, I said, look, it's all about the people. The people are the drivers, right? Of course, God is the ultimate driver, but the people, uh, you know, this government goes in the direction that the people allow it to go into. That is why President Trump won. The establishment did everything they could to, I mean, look, Veronica Escobar held a purse of $1.2 billion. I think it was maybe even more than that. But let's say on the conservative side, $1.2 billion she was given to win the election for Kamala Harris. Okay. She lost. Why? Why? Because they think it's all about the money. But no, it's about the people. It's the people didn't want Kamala Harris. They wanted President Trump. And he went out to the people and he talked to the people. Every time Kamala Harris talked, well, it took her like over a month to even talk, right? And then when she talked, the people didn't like what she had to say, right? They didn't like it. And President Trump um, absolutely went to the people. He told them what he was all about, and they voted for him. And even with all of the shenanigans, and there's a lot of shenanigans with the voting, a lot of shenanigans. Even with all the shenanigans, he won overwhelmingly. He won a majority of everything. He got a mandate. He got a mandate. It was just so incredible. And so, yesterday couldn't happen. The last few days couldn't have happened. This peace deal, this first step to a rebuilding of Gaza. Um, just everything happening right now. The everything happening in Juarez. He is fundamentally changing Juarez, Chihuahua, which is Mexico, but because he knows that he must control Texas, because and bring Texas back to um, being legal, being law-abiding, being Americana. He needs to bring Texas back to that. It's been compromised. We have overwhelming evidence that it's been compromised. El Paso is the front door to the United States. It's Texas. And he knows that. He knows all the he knows all of this. We've been in communication. He knows all of this. So, and as Texas goes, so goes the United States, so goes the world. That is so true. And so this is very, very important to him. So if you think that Israel was important or the Middle East, all the Middle East countries were important to him, that is nothing compared to El Paso. That is nothing compared to El Paso. As El Paso goes, so goes Texas. As Texas goes, so goes the United States. As United States goes, so goes the world. That's how important El Paso is. And I didn't realize that. We didn't realize that for a long time until evidence and evidence piles up and you realize the amount of money that goes into controlling every agency that's in El Paso, in the Western District. If you see what's happening, the attack on Homan happened in the Western District of Texas. You saw the 30 children that were found now that had been trafficked. Where was that? The Western District of Texas. That's in San Antonio. And, you know, it's just that Western District of Texas is a big deal. It's a big deal. Where is the minerals, the rare earth minerals? Well, right, right there in Western District of Texas. Where is the fuel being siphoned and stolen, and where is all the that right there in the Western District of Texas? It's so important, and it's connected to, of course, Venezuela. So that's why you see this keeping these drugs out, turning off the spigots of USAID, of NPR and PBS, and you see his focus is laser sharp on El Paso. President Trump's focus is laser sharp on El Paso. And Richard's case is just that big. So of course, his remains are the focus. He's a U.S. Army soldier, of course, and he is absolutely the commander-in-chief, and he's focused on making the military great again, strong again. And he is the biggest cheerleader for our military. And you see that Pete Hegseth is really upping the standards really with the way he needs to do it as a leader, which will help the standards of the entire United States. It's such a great thing to see. And so Richard's remains, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio with Marco's list. I haven't forgotten about that. And I need to address that. So many other things have been happening. But Marco's list, vicious negotiating for repatriation. And President Trump's laser focus is on Richard. We know that. And so we appreciate all of your sharing. Absolutely. So this is a huge day. And El Pasoans need to get back their vote. Their vote has been disenfranchised. And the Commission on Judicial Conduct, that might need to be defunded. but we did, we were successful on getting Sylvia Borunda Firth removed from there. She was supposed to be there until 2029. That's not going to happen now. I think it's really soon. Really soon she is done. I have to look on the exact date that she is done, but she is. Yeah. So that took a lot of letters to get that done, y'all. But that is a huge victory. And she needs to be held accountable for what she has done in El Paso, all the crime, all the violations, all the manipulating, all, everything, and she's just has one violation after the next, all through everything she puts her hands on. So, um, yeah, that's really important. And yes, so many other cases we haven't forgotten about we're still working on that are connected to Richard's case. So, you know, we're doing it. We're doing it. So thank you for coming on. Thank you, Danielle, for your prayers. Thank you, Lainey, for your prayers. Um, and the stars, justice, everything. And we are working very hard behind the scenes, and we hope that you continue to pray for us and to share, and also to share your being the eyes on the ground there in El Paso. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.